the AA Daily Reflections for April 22nd. New soil, new roots. Moments of perception can build into a lifetime of spiritual serenity, as I have excellent reason to know. Roots of reality, supplanting the neurotic underbrush, will hold fast despite the high winds of the forces which would destroy us, or which we would use to destroy ourselves. Woo. This is going to be a good one. That's from As Bill Sees It, page 173. I came to AA green, a seedling quivering with exposed taproots. It was for survival, but it was a beginning. I stretched, developed, twisted, but with the help of others, my spirit eventually burst up from the roots. I was free. I acted, withered, went inside, prayed, acted again, and understood anew as one moment of perception struck. Up from my roots, spirit arms lengthened into strong green shoots, high-springing servants stepping skyward. Here on earth, God unconditionally continues the legacy of higher love. My AA life put me on a different footing. My roots grasped a new soil. From Alcoholics Anonymous, page 12. Holy Stromboli. This is a good one. Now, since I have limited time and I have to get to work, let's get to this one. Moments of perception. I think that is one of the most important words in my sobriety. Anything post-sobriety, anything that has actually helped me to change the way I think. Because for me, it's all about perception. What I find interesting is it doesn't say a change in perception. It only says moments of perception, which tells me that I'm not going to consistently have a new perception. But even moments of perception will lead or build into a lifetime of spiritual serenity. For me, spiritual serenity equates with actual serenity. Serenity for me means peace. Serenity for me means being okay with the world. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So serenity includes perception. It also includes faith, which includes not being in fear, which then includes action to do the things that I can do that will actually make a difference. And when we're rooted in reality, we're going to be able to deal with all the BS going on that we previously couldn't deal with because we're, drunks and we were neurotic, and we are still neurotic at times. And when we live in the neurotic underbrush, the world's going to destroy us, or we're going to allow the world to destroy us. Man, 2 sentences that basically encompass the entirety of my problem and basically the solution. And then it gets into basically what I feel like is the journey of initial sobriety. What I used to think is that, I'm just coming here not to drink. I had no idea that I was coming in here to basically lay the foundation of how I should act if I want to have sustained and long-lasting serenity, peace. I hate to use serenity and peace because it's not that it's overused, but it's that those words aren't as strong if you go into the rooms quite a bit, because you hear them all the time. And when we hear it all the time, I think it loses its weight or its transformative meaning for us. I stretched, developed, twisted, but with the help of others, my spirit eventually burst up from the roots. So the growth period, the lead up to the actual change, is not going to be easy. Sometimes it's going to be painful. But eventually, and I love how it says my spirit eventually burst up from the roots, which tells me, and I also have experience with, you do, nothing, and then boom. This kind of reminds me of bamboo. So apparently bamboo is establishing its roots from up to between 1 and 3 years, and you don't really see anything going on. And then when the roots are established, get this, it can grow 1 to 3 feet per day, depending upon the species. I guess depending upon your program too. I think that is a very good analogy for AA. And I did notice that. The first year was really about establishing my roots and understanding what the problem even is. It's super easy to go in there understanding that, drinking's wrecking my life. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is me and my perception. I could go into endless examples, but I've got work to do, and hopefully you're reflecting on, okay, like, how is this applying to me? One thing I will say about perception is going through being in the program for over 20 years, my perception has shifted about problems or issues that are inciting fear in my life or making me feel uneasy. And if I look back at my life, the most difficult times in my life actually led to they were the most transformative things in my life. And it's what caused lasting change and a lasting perspective. But what's interesting is I was talking to my wife on the way to Easter, and she is a counselor, therapist. And I was talking to her and asking her from a scientific perspective about how we have a shift in our thinking. Where in the past, if we were going through something very difficult, it would just destroy us, right? We would be depressed. We, or I, would be in so much fear that it almost paralyzed me. And then one day, I had this shift to where anything that was difficult, I saw it, I was almost excited about it. Because I knew on the other side, I was going to be forever changed and forever have a different perspective on it. And what I was asking her was, why did it happen just like that? And she told me, well, it's practice. And through consistent practice that our brain actually creates different neurological pathways. So on a physiological level, we have retrained our brain on how to see different situations. So it's not just in the nebulous feelings world eventually. It's actually tangible and scientific. When I was practicing these things and going through them over and over again in my mind and really trying to convince myself that this is actually going to be good, at some point there was a tipping point to where those new neurological pathways were laid, and now it's not necessarily always automatic, but it's much easier for me to see the benefit that this problem is going to cause and being excited about it, embracing the suck, embracing the challenge. Anyway, I gotta go. This one is a really good one, so reread it a few times if you get a chance. If you're not sober, please go to a meeting and get to know some people. If you are sober, please go to a meeting and be nice to people. Like and subscribe. Thank you.